Great question. I grew up in the business, so I started working in this company when I was 12 years old. So some of my first transactions probably would have been collecting rent, talking to customers, and dealing with some of those things as early as age 12. After I got into business and was licensed, I began working essentially as a property manager in this family business, and actually didn't get into the sales arena for 3 or 4 years after that. And I do remember my first transaction there was actually sold a 16 unit apartment building. We primarily specialize in commercial and investment real estate. So that was a pretty good first sale. And then within a few years after that, I had sold some larger multifamily properties and kind of took off in the commercial real estate arena. I'd really have to mention just a couple of people. I mean, first of all, I grew up in a real estate family. So my father, Lewis Baldwin Sr., and my sister, Ginger Baldwin, were in real estate when I was pre-college and college age and whatnot. So real estate was certainly a topic around the dinner table, and I would have to include them in any conversation about folks who indoctrinated me into the business. When I became a member of the Association of Realtors, I had a few mentors that were also, in addition to those family members, people who really helped me to get involved, to understand why we were involved in our profession and whatnot. And at the top of that list, I would have to include June Dinkins, who was a past state president of the North Carolina Realtors and very active realtor in her era here in Winston-Salem, and also Ted Kelly, who many of our members know and was also a past state president. But the two of them for many, many years helped me to get involved and helped mentor me in this arena. The number one thing that they did, and that I think any of us can do, is to invite people and to let them know that there's value in being involved. So I got very involved at a young age and at a young part of my career. Some folks say, hey, let's wait until we've achieved a certain amount of success and a certain number of years in the business and then give back. But my experience was very different because those people encouraged me and invited me to the table and got me involved in leadership, first with local committees and divisions, and then on to statewide and then national. But I found that the more I put in to those involvements and to those leadership positions, the more I learned that helped me with my own company and with my own career growth. The time you put in redeems itself, and there's a strong return on investment. The success of my real estate career and my business has been largely because I put time into the Realtor Association and other ways to be involved in my community. All that time, in my opinion, is redeemed. It's given back to you, and it translates into more business. I think the relationships that I've formed with other realtors, both in the local area, state, and nationally, have led to a lot of referrals back and forth, a lot of doing business together, a lot of being in the room together and networking that has enabled us to communicate and figure out what the deals are to be done and to work together on transactions. So at every step of the way, I kind of looked ahead at the next step and said, I'm not sure I ever want to do that on the state level or whatnot, because that's got to be really, really time consuming. While it's about giving, there's no way that there can be a return on that investment of time. And lo and behold, each and every time I found that there was a return in growing my capacity in business, in my education and learning from others who have been successful and who I was able to be around by being involved on those other levels and by actually doing business transactions with them. Sure, I was very fortunate to be the 2012 president of the North Carolina Realtors, and I believe we had about 34,000 members then compared to around 55,000 members now. So we've had a lot of great growth since then. And there's a number of things that to me stand out about my year. One is that presidents get to pick a theme for their year. And my theme was Realtors in the Arena. And it was basically based on the Teddy Roosevelt quote about the credit belonging to the man who's actually in the arena, who's out there doing things and challenging themselves and risking failure, but also realizing success. And I wanted to go around the state and thank our realtors for being in the arena, for being in the arena in our profession, in advocacy, for being in the arena in their communities and in making a difference. I also took the opportunity, ordered several hundred of the realtor pins, which are special for veterans of the armed services. And I loved going to local associations, speaking to them about being in the arena, challenging them to be in the arena, giving these pins to the realtors who had served in that terrific arena of helping defend our country. And so to me, just getting the opportunity to spread the word of realtors in the arena was a special part of my year. Another part of my year, I felt like was the culmination of a chapter of several years of presidents of our association and administrations, which is that several years before that, we had found ourselves not in the best financial position that we had ever been in. And a previous president appointed a financial PAG. President Mary Edna Williams, I believe, chaired that PAG, or may have been the president that appointed it. But either way, I had the opportunity to serve on that PAG with some other realtors, and we put together a plan and got it approved. And then over several years, implemented that plan. And the result was that I was the first president in many, many decades that was able to turn a debt-free organization over to my successor. So it certainly wasn't something that was accomplished only in my administration. It was definitely in the prior administrations and through my administration. But that was a great accomplishment, I felt, for our association to return it to financial soundness and strength and to be able to hand a stronger organization over to the next folks. This is a great business. Being an entrepreneur is a very rewarding thing. The opportunity to direct your own career because you're an entrepreneur is a great thing. But the people that you surround yourself with in this profession or industry will determine your success. And, some people say, oh, committee work, I just can't stand, being around a table and talking about things and talking. Well, that's where the rubber meets the road in our communities, in the legislative arena, in this association. Committees talk about what can we do better? What can we do more of? How can we grow? And so don't be afraid to get involved with those and embrace that time around the table, because that's where you have an opportunity to make a difference. And when I speak to some of our leadership academies and leadership groups, I say, aspiring to be the president of the association is great if that's your calling, but so much important work goes on at other levels with committees and with volunteer time. As a matter of fact, when I look back at my career on the state level with the North Carolina Realtors, two of the things that I'm proudest to have been involved in really happened when I was serving at a committee level or committee chair level. One of them was how we reformed issues mobilization for our organization, greatly increasing the funding of it and making us a stronger advocacy organization. And Wendell Bullard had appointed me to chair a presidential advisory group, a PAG on issues mobilization. It was probably the greatest experience I've had at the state level, was helping bring that about. And the same with the reform of our legislative committee, which used to meet in a big amorphous auditorium type room, and it wasn't clear who was on the committee and who wasn't and what you could actually do or accomplish. And before I was ever state president, a group of us said, this can be better. And we put together a proposal that led to how the legislative committee is run today, around an organized table with a finite number of members, and taking our leadership role in advocacy very seriously.